Good to see you too, man. You can adjust it yourself, right? Okay. Right. You've hosted this, haven't you?
I have.
Oh, my bad.
Hello. So this summer, I took my 4-year-old Sawyer to swim lessons, and I went to this guy that was highly recommended. My neighbor called him the swim guru of West LA, which settled down, but I signed up anyway because we'd taken swim lessons the summer before, my son had made no progress, and this guy promised to teach kids to swim in 5 days. So we go to his house, the lessons are in the pool in his backyard, and there's green foliage, there's incense burning, there's new age music playing, and the instructor, Conrad, is just treading water in the middle of the blue pool, waiting for us to arrive. He's probably in his 70s, long gray hair, and everyone's sitting around the pool with their kids on their lap, and everyone's quiet and nervous. And it does seem kind of like a cult. But as you know, living in LA, if you walk out on everything that seems kind of culty, you don't do much in this town. So we stayed. And he asks about everyone's swim experience, and I say, well, Sawyer loves the water. He's had one swimming lesson last summer. He loves the water, but he won't swim without his floaties. And Conrad looks at us and he said, that's not swimming. Throw the floaties away tonight. And I say, yes, sir. And Sawyer starts to cry because he loves his floaties. He's so attached to his floaties. If you don't know, they're the things you put your arms through and they help the kid float in the pool. And they're not life jackets. They make that very clear on the packaging. They're like, these are not life-saving devices. And you take that really seriously as a parent the first 3 times. And then you're like, these things work pretty well. Like, I can pay a little less attention, I think, when he's in. Sawyer's fearless in his floaties, but without the floaties, he won't go in without me holding him, so he's upset. So the lesson starts, and Sawyer's still crying, and he's clinging to me, and I take him and I hand him to Conrad, and Conrad takes him into the middle of the pool, and he says, Sawyer, is it okay if I put your head underwater? And Sawyer says, no, thank you. And then Conrad just dunks him right under. Which, as a parent who's done a lot of gentle parenting reading, was kind of cathartic to see. And then Conrad takes him over and he guides him to the side of the wall. He just says, kick slowly. And he takes him to the wall and he sets him there and he moves on to the next kid. And Sawyer's just clinging to the side like he's free soloing El Capitan. He's just like, Papa, I'm slipping, help me. Like, you're fine, you're fine. And it's an hour lesson, but there's 10 kids, so that only really means 5 minutes with Conrad. They're all kind of like that, just being guided around the pool. And he's crying the entire time. He does no actual swimming, and we leave. And I'm like, I do not feel like I was in the presence of a guru today. And I do not throw away the floaties that night. I'm not doing it. The second day is more of the same, a lot of crying, no swimming. The third day, it gets worse. Sawyer starts tantruming. He starts grabbing the chair as I try to take him to the pool. As soon as Conrad's done with the turn, he comes out of the pool and refuses to get in. I'm so frustrated. I go to the nuclear level and I say, if you don't get back in the pool, no videos tonight. Which is a last resort because that's a punishment for me also. Like, that's the only me time I get, and you know what I do with it? The dishes. It's so relaxing. I've got a system. I love it, which is, I know, sad. Like, before kids, what I did with my free time, drugs. And then after kids, you do dishes recreationally. So I threaten no videos. That doesn't work, and it's just a disaster. He barely swims. We're now 3 out of 5 days in. He's not swum a single stroke, no progress. I'm frustrated, I'm angry. I'm like, should we just quit? But I'm like, well, we'll stick it out. I'll take him again tomorrow. And on the way there, I say, Sawyer, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be scared, but you have to listen. You have to stay in the pool. You have to trust me and trust Conrad. And he says, okay, Papa, I'll try, but I don't think swimming is my sport. But he goes, and on that 4th day, he does try. He gets in on his own accord, and he's not happy, but he doesn't cry. And I can see he's starting to trust Conrad and trust himself, or he just wants to watch videos that night. But either way, it's starting to work. And Conrad, instead of guiding him to the wall as he'd been doing, starts pushing him from a couple feet away. And Sawyer does a couple kicks and makes it to the wall. And every time he has a turn with Conrad, Conrad makes him go a little bit farther and a little bit farther. And on the last day, Conrad said, Sawyer, swim all the way across the pool. And Sawyer says, I can't, it's too far. And Conrad says, no, it's not. And Sawyer looks at me, and I can see emotion welling in him. I'm waiting for him to tantrum or to come out of the pool, but instead he takes a deep breath, and he goes into the water, and he swims all the way across the pool. And he comes up, and he's beaming, and he's smiling. He says, "Papa, I can swim." And I say, "You can swim." And Conrad's like, "He can swim." And we go home that night, and I throw away the floaties. And as I do it, I realize that the floaties had never been for Sawyer. The floaties were more for me. They were so I didn't have to be in the pool the whole time, so I didn't have to go through the pain of teaching swimming, so I could parent a little bit less. And as parents, we have all these floaties. We have screen time and ice cream and new toys. We say they're for the kids, but they're really for us. And sometimes that's okay. We need breaks. We deserve it. We should do the things we love, like the dishes. But sometimes it becomes a crutch, it becomes a bad habit, and it stops the kids from getting where they need to going. I'd done that with the floaties. And so in 1 week, Sawyer learned to swim. I got a new perspective on parenting, and it was all thanks to my swim guru, Conrad. Thank you.
Madison.